Hey guys, well I went and I've got the bike out on the driveway here today, and I had her running a little bit, and she's running really good. Those cleaned up carbs are working amazingly well. I'm gonna have to think about whether or not I actually buy new carbs or not, but so far so good. Before I do too much else, though, I want to actually go and check the Tappet clearances in North America, known as the valve clearances. Here and here. So we've got the exhaust side, and they're to be at 6,000th of an inch, and on the intake side, they're to be 8,000ths of an inch. So we're going to take these inspection covers off, the one here and the other inspection cover here, and go and check and just see what they're at, and try to make sure that they're dialed in perfectly before we do too much else. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's get after it. Okay, guys. So far I've just prepped the bike for our work to go and actually adjust the tappets on here. So I found removing the gas tank just to make it a lot easier to get the bolts out. Especially the intake side can be hard to get out without if you don't want to worry about marking up your tank or whatnot. So you don't need to do that, but the tank comes off so easily, and it just makes it a lot easier to get those inspection covers off. So that's all I've done. Didn't film that because it's pretty obvious. The other thing I did, as you can probably see, is took the spark plugs out, and that's so that we can spin the engine over a little bit easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it into gear. I'll try to get into fourth gear, and then we'll be able to turn the rear wheel to spin the engine over, which is a little bit easier than kicking it, to say the least, get a little bit more accurate. So that's what we're going to do, and let's carry on. Okay, you guys, so we've got the bike in gear, and so that we can actually rotate the engine, and you can see the valves going up and down. Okay, our valve adjusters going up and down. So what we're going to do now is I want to be able to adjust the one closest to the camera over on this side. And so where we need that to be is we need that to be at the very top, and to do that we get the one on the opposite side, the one that's closest to me on this side of the bike, all the way to the bottom. So we're just going to turn the bike until I can see the one closest to me all the way down to the bottom. Just moving it very slowly. And that's it right there. So now what we want to do is we'll know that we've got it at top, because we should feel some clearance here. So I'm just going to come over here, see if I can move it. You hear that? Hear that clearance? Okay. So that clearance has got to be 8,000ths of an inch. So I've got my feeler gauge here now, and I'm just going to get in there and see if I can get in there and feel that. Actually, that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. Yeah, I want to be really sure, so I'm going to actually, it feels perfect to me, but I'm just out of sheer paranoia, I'm going to spin the bike over one more time entirely. Again, we're going to get this one all the way to the top, here, and the opposite one on the intake all the way to the bottom. I'm a little too far, I'm going to go back the other way. If I can. Well, I have to go all the way around, I think. Go all the way around, get it all the way down. Be a little more careful this time, as this one's going down, that one's going up. There, it just stopped. Okay. Check it again with my 8,000th feeler gauge. And you do have to check them from the opposite side, just the way I am. You need kind of a straight shot at this. So, and that is really just perfect. It's just rubbing on there, and that's ideal. I'm going to just to check it one more time. I'm going to try a 9,000ths. Give it a go, and that's actually quite tight. So it rubs at 8 thou. It is quite tight at 9. Let's see if 10 will even go in. Let's see what that does. Yeah. Can't get 11 in there. Okay, so we've tested it out, and 8 feels pretty good. 9 and 10 are considerably tighter, and 11 will not go in. So we know it's definitely between 8 and 10,000, and for the intake, that is absolutely perfect. So I am not going to adjust that. That's perfect. Now what we need to do is spin the engine so that we can actually adjust the opposite side here on the intake. So let's just do that now. So now what I'm looking to do is get this one all the way to the top and this one all the way to the bottom. So let's just do that. When that one's all the way to the bottom, we'll go back a little bit if we can. Yeah, there she is. Okay, now I got to come over to your side and adjust it. So I'm just coming over to check that now. I see I knocked my gas tank bolt out, so that's the clank you heard, so no worries there. I should have taken that off the bike earlier. That's okay. Okay, so we've got our 8 thousandths feeler gauge, and again, we're going to check it from this side, so hopefully you guys can see this without my big hands in the way. You see that's just rubbing nice. That's rubbing nice. So let's do what we did before. Let's now go and grab our 9 thou and see what that's like. Here's the 9 thousandths. And that's considerably tighter. It's not dragging, it's actually tight. Let's try 10. Here's our 10 thou. And even tighter. Let's see if we can get 11 in there. Here's 11th thou finally. It was hiding. Here's our 11th thou. And look at that. It will not go in there. So again, we know that we're between 8 and 10 thou in this. And that really, again, is perfect. So luckily for us, we don't need to do any adjustment on the intake side of the bike. Now what we need to do is set up and come over here and we'll do the exhaust side. And the exhaust side, same process, but we do 6 thousandths of an inch. So let's do that next. Okay guys, we're now going to do the exhaust side of the bike. You can see that's the part of the engine that's to the front of the bike that rather obvious because you see the exhaust pipes coming out of this side. But just pointing that out for those that may not immediately know. That's why we call it the exhaust side, because there's our exhaust and these are our exhaust valves. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and adjust those. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit so you get a really much better view of that. I just want to show you where we were on the bike. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same process we did before. We're going to go and use the back tire with it engaged to actually adjust those into position, and that's going to take a little bit of looking for me here. So just I'll start moving the engine over, and we want one all the way down, and then we can adjust the other one. Now that one went a little too far, so we're going to move it back. Okay. Alrighty, so the handlebar is hitting me in the head. Hang on a sec. Let's turn the wheel of the bike a little bit there. So let's give that another go. So I want to make sure I've got that all the way down. So this one I'm looking at here, I want to make sure it's all the way down. Let's back up again. Let's turn it back a little bit. Okay, I think we've got it good there. So this one, you can hear we've got some clearance there. And you can actually hear the difference in sound. We definitely have less. You can hear it. Here, I'll do the intake. Okay, want to do the intake? No, I can't do the intake. But you can trust me, the sound is a little bit different here. You can tell it's less distance. So 6 thousandths of an inch for the exhaust side. Got the correct feeler gauge now. If anything, that feels, it's a little bit of rubbing, but if anything, it's maybe a little bit loose. Let me just see. Let's find our, we'll just have the 8. You know what? So let's try the 8. See if 8 will go in there. 8 is really tight. 8 is really tight. Let's see what 7 does. Just looking for my 7. Okay, there's my 7. Yeah, 7 actually, you know, is probably about where, I think this is about 1/1000th of an inch out in my view. Before I adjust it, let's see where the other one's at, eh? Let's see where the other one's at. So I'm just going to move the back tire again. We're going to get this one all the way down. Okay, that's all the way down. I'm going to come over to the other side and we're going to check it out. Now again, this is supposed to be 6, but I happen to have a 7th thou feeler gauge in my hand. So let's just try the 7, see what we get. Oh, get in there, come on. Now that's actually tight at 7, I would say. This fumbling around isn't because it's tight, it's because it's just I'm being inaccurate with my feeler gauge. I'm trying my right hand now. Yeah, that one's actually, I would say that's too tight. Let me just rotate this engine again, make sure I've got it in the right position, make sure it's not a me error. Do it all the way around, get this one all the way down. Okay, let's try that 7 again. Yeah, that is tight there, man. So that one's too tight, I would say. Let's try the 6. Let's try the 6. Okay. Again, 6 is what it's supposed to be at for the exhaust side here, so let's get that in there. Actually, you know what? That is perfect. That is so perfect that the 7 was too tight and the 6 is like perfect. So we're gonna, this is the only one here of the 3 we've tested so far that seemed a bit out. As if you recall, I thought it was about 1,000 out. So let's just see. Let's go and bring that one, we'll bring this one all the way down. I'm gonna just have to change sides here so I can see what I'm doing. Bring it back just a bit, just a smidge. There we go, that's it right there. So let's try our 6 again over here. Yeah, that's too loose. That's too loose. So let's adjust that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a wrench to undo this nut right here, okay? And then we're going to use a needle nose. I'll probably use a needle nose pliers here, or maybe if I have the right size wrench, I'll check and see. We'll move this top bit and we're going to turn it in ever so slightly. We're going to snug this back up and see if we can get that 1/1000th of an inch difference that we're looking for. So this is a little bit more snug than it currently is, because at the moment it's a little bit on the slack side. So let's do that. Yeah, it's 7/16. Okay, we're just going to slacken that off a little bit. Oh, use this. Okay, that's loose now. I've got a variety of small little carburetor wrenches. I'm kind of wondering if one of these is going to fit on here. Oh, look at that, it does too. That's going to be a lot easier, okay? Because that will allow me to hold this in the position I want while we tighten this down. So what we'll do is we'll just I'm gonna put this on first, like that. And then I'm going to grab my feeler gauge, and we're going to adjust that down a little bit until we're happy with it, and then we'll try snugging it up. So let's see how this goes. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see what I'm doing. It's a little bit hard though. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, you know what? I'm going to move the camera because of the one I'm working on here. You're not getting a good view here. I'm going to angle you in from this side. Hang on a sec. 2 seconds. Okay. All right, we will edit this walking out. All right. Okay, we've got our 6/1000 of an inch in there, and yeah, so that's too loose. Let's try tightening this a little bit. What you're looking for is you're looking for, you know, friction, but you don't want it so tight that it's super tight. So I think that's a little bit too much. Back it off a little bit. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, this is the fun bit, is I'm going to try to hold this little wrench when I tighten this one up. So you have to hold this. I'm trying to do this in such a way that you can see what I'm doing. Looks like I'm blocking out the light there. Sorry about that, not much I can do about it. Well, maybe I can hold it this way. Yeah, I'll try to hold it this way so you can see what I'm doing. Ah, there we go. Like that, okay? Now I'm going to tighten that nut up without moving this. So you hold this exactly in the position you got it, and then you tighten with the other one. And actually, this is one of the situations where those gear wrenches come in handy. Okay, it's super tight now. Now we're going to test it. And don't be surprised if it's a little bit wrong. Sometimes you do this 4 or 5 times before you get it right. But that feels pretty good. You know, I mean, it's still a little bit on the loose side. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to readjust that. So I gotta put this on the off position here, and we don't have to worry about holding the top now. We could, I guess, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to loosen that off. Put that now. Change this so that when I move it again, it's going to be in the tighten position. Okay, there we go. Come back with our feeler gauge, and I'm going to know to get this a little tighter than I did last time. The thing about it is when you're doing the tightening, you know, if you move this even a little bit, it's going to make a difference, right? And this is why you sometimes wind up doing this a few times until you're happy with it. Okay, I am happy with that now, so then I'm going to try holding this again. How do I do that? Like this? Yeah, don't move anything, Charles. Why is that not tightening up? Oh, I didn't have it in the right position, wouldn't you know it? Oh, gee whiz. Okay, well, let's do this again. Yeah. That's not tight enough. Tighten it a little bit more. That's too tight. Back it off a fraction. And that's exactly where we want it, right there. Okay. I now have my wrench in the correct position. We'll hold this. Okay, now we're going to test it and make sure we have it where we want it. Oh, that's too tight. Too tight. So we're going to have to do that again. Okay guys, so when we adjusted that, we adjusted it too tight. So I'm just going to check her again. Yeah, it's too tight. So I overcooked it, so we're going to back her off again. This is kind of what happens when you're adjusting these things. It just, you know, moving it just a minuscule amount makes a big difference. So yeah, it's still too tight. Back her off with my finger a little bit. That's a little bit too loose. So we'll move this back a little bit. I got the wrong wrench there. I think I do. Yeah, the wrong wrench. Okay. That's just nice right there. Yeah, maybe we'll leave the feeler gauge in there this time. Maybe that'll help us a bit, eh? I don't think so, but it doesn't cost any more. We'll give that a go. Hold that in there. No, we're going to get that out of our way. Okay. Hold her down. Okay, we'll tighten it more if we have it right, but let's just see what we got for distance now. Oh, and you know what? I think it's a little bit loose, if you can believe that. Okay, let's back her off a little bit. Okay. Okay, we're going to tighten her up a little bit more. So what happens, you go from too tight to too loose to too tight. That's pretty good. And we're going to hold that. Okay, let's see where we're at now. No, she's still too loose. We're going to give her another go here. Okay. That's too tight. You can just see how little I'm moving this, eh? That feels good there. Okay. Let's see how this feels now. Yeah, that's good. We've got some friction there. That's not too bad. That's good. Let's just check a higher one. Let's see where the no-go is. Yeah, so that's typically a good thing to do with feeler gauges is sort of have a go, no-go approach to it. So we've checked it with 6. Let's check it with 9 and see if 9 goes in there. Yeah, 9 does not go in there. Good. That's actually good. Let's check 8. Here's 8. Here's 8. Let's see if 8 goes in. 8 goes in super tight. But 9 didn't go in. And we've got it at 6. So I think that's pretty darn good. We're going to call that good. So now we have the tappets completely set up. And now all we have to do is just put the covers back on, put the spark plugs back on, and we're golden. So that's it for the process, guys. Hopefully this helped you a little bit. It's one of those jobs that's actually very, very easy, but you need to have patience for it. And it's one of the jobs where precision matters. And so, as I did, using a variety of feeler gauges, obviously you're aiming for a particular value. In this case, 6/1000 of an inch on the exhaust, 8,000 on the intake side. But at the end of the day, use your feeler gauges, once you're happy with it, use your feeler gauges to see, where is it too tight, that'll give you a sense of how close you are to the values that you're striving for. Because of course, saying that there's a bit of friction is, it's subjective, right? Everybody's view of what's tight or loose as you're putting your feeler gauge back and forth is different. But the one thing that's not subjective is when you got a feeler gauge that will not go in. So you saw, especially on the intake side, I was trying to put a 10,000th feeler gauge in there and it would not go in, but 8,000 felt snug. Well, I know I'm at most within 2,000ths of an inch of being bang on accurate. That's quite good actually. So that's how you get these things accurate, and it just takes time and a bit of frustration sometimes to get them accurate. You can see, the pain I was having going through this. Mine is a little different because I'm trying to keep my hands out of your way as I'm doing it, but you get the sense of what the effort is. So I try to make these videos as real as possible rather than just editing all the making it look ridiculously easy, because some of these things are not that this is hard, it's not hard, but some of them do take patience and time. So hopefully that helps you out there. As always, guys, please do subscribe. I could really use the subscriptions. It costs you nothing to subscribe. You just got to click a button. So I would really, if you enjoyed this at all or it helped you at all, please do subscribe. Please also like the video, and most of all, please leave a comment. I love all of the comments. I read all of them, and most importantly, I reply to all of them. So yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you're having a great day. Keep the rubber side down if you're out there riding, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.